Welcome back to MX-5 Info for part 5 of this series of installing air conditioning on the NB2. In this episode we will install the remaining AC parts that are required to create the closed system. My next step is to make room for the condenser, and for that we need to remove the upper support brackets for the radiator so we can tilt the radiator backwards and can lower the condenser into the gap. I also did tie up the power steering fluid reservoir a bit closer to the engine and parked the power steering pump next to the engine. That will give me some additional room, and then I will also use this wire to keep the radiator closer to the engine. Yeah. That should do. We need to be careful not to damage the radiator or the condenser, but the gap is now big enough so we can lower it in here. And then you need to secure or fasten the condenser with 2 bolts. There's a bracket on the condenser and on the body of the car, and with the bolt you connect the 2 on each side of the condenser. Now that the condenser is in place, we can reinstall the radiator or put it back in its place and attach the upper radiator support brackets. Make sure not to pinch this overflow line. And then we can install the second fan, the one for the AC specific. So everything on the radiator is already prepared for that. So there are nuts, these square nuts are in there. And the wiring is also available. So this fan is fastened with 4 bolts, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. And then the wiring connects to this white connector over here. Let me see how it should go in. Like so. So now it's already wired to the car. So this connector has been waiting for this moment for over 20 years. Okay, I will secure the bolts at the bottom as well now. What you see here is the mounting plate for the AC compressor. It will go on in this direction onto the side of the engine below the power steering pump. But before you get to that point, you need to do 2 things. You need to remove this bolt because it will be replaced by a longer one. This one is 50 millimeters and the one that will go in is 75 millimeters. Then the second thing you need to do is take some time to check the thread in these holes. What I've done over the past hour is to chase the threads in each of these holes, because I could not get the bolts in by hand. Now I can turn them by hand, but remember that these holes are in this engine for the duration of its lifetime and they have not been used, so they will corrode. So take your time and chase these threads before you start working with the mounting plate of the AC compressor, because it is quite heavy, and if you're then juggling with that plate and the bolts will not go in, it's not funny. All the bolts are now in place, but they need to be torqued to spec. For this bolt at the front, it needs to be 29.4 Newton meters, so almost 30. We'll start with that one. That's how it should be done. The bolts on the side need to be torqued to 60.4 Newton meters. It is now time to prepare the compressor and all of the lines and hoses to go back on the car. After draining the compressor completely, so all the oil is out, I looked up what it needed, and apparently the complete system has about 140 milliliters of oil in it, and at any given time during operation, half of that amount would be in the compressor, and there will still be some oil remaining in these lines and in the evaporator and in the condenser. So half of that amount would be 70 milliliters, but we can add 1 ounce extra. That is the rule of thumb. So half plus 1 ounce, meaning that between 70 and 100 milliliters should go into this compressor. This is the discharge side. This is the suction side. This opening is bigger, and that is where the oil needs to go in, because on the discharge side it would be pushing the oil out immediately, so it needs to go into the bigger opening. Then for all of these lines, when we look at it from the compressor perspective, this is where it starts. It pushes it out on this side. That's the discharge hose. Then this one is line number 1 coming from the condenser to the pressure sensor. That will go towards the evaporator. Then the bigger line will pick it up from there, transporting it back to the suction hose. That will bring it back to the compressor. So what I have here is a small paintbrush, and I have the O-rings over here. So I will be lubing up the O-rings as well as the openings where they need to go into or onto. So I will be lubricating this, but for example also this side. And then when all of that is done, then the lines are ready, and I'll prepare the compressor to go back onto the car. The label on the compressor clearly states that only ND oil 9 should be used, which corresponds with PAG 100 oil for systems with the R134A refrigerant gas. The bracket you see here will have to move for a moment, so I have to get that bolt out. And then we have a new bracket that will come underneath, and this is the bracket where the lines from the evaporator will arrive and where the pressure sender will be. So it fits, it follows this shape, so it fits over here. You should be able to see the hole. Yep, there it is. And then the bolt can go back in. The AC compressor is now where it should be. It bolts down with 4 bolts M8 by 85 millimeters. The torque spec is 25 Newton meters. I can now proceed by putting the power steering pump back in its place and putting the belt on. But I think I will first install the discharge hose and the suction hose. I decided to first connect the discharge hose from the compressor to the condenser, then the suction hose from the compressor up to here, and the line number 1, the liquid line, from the condenser to this point where the pressure sensor will also go. We can now connect this low pressure line that goes to the evaporator, and attaches here on this bracket with a 10mm nut. And then we have this high pressure line from the evaporator, or towards the evaporator, however you want to call it. That will go on top of this one and into the evaporator first. Then there will be a 10mm nut on here as well. And these are also tightened to a torque of 9.8 Newton meters. And then we have the suction hose as the last line. And then I can put the clips on here that prevent these two lines from separating. There's one. And that's number 2. So these are secured now. Where the suction hose bends up towards the pressure switch, it has a small clamp that connects it to the steering rack. The connector for the pressure sensor is down here. Again, attached with some blue tape to the wiring harness. As you can see, on this one should fit right in. Another job done. One more part to go. That's next time in part 6. In that case, we will be finalizing the installation, getting the system tested and charged. If you have any questions or remarks, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching MX5 Info, and until next time.